Welcome to Frank and Upfront. I am your host, Mr. Franklin. A very special welcome to all of you who are joining me here on this podcast. I invite you to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified of weekly uploads. If you wish to advertise on Frank and Upfront, please email me at frankandupfrontpodcast@gmail.com. If you wish to donate to my channel, you can do so via PayPal at Frank and Upfront. Please follow me on Instagram for daily memes and inspirational quotes to help you get your day going. Please follow me on Medium, where I periodically write articles pertaining to various subject matters that may be of interest. Frank and Upfront is now on Anchor. Effective January 10th, Frank and Upfront will be uploading my podcasts exclusively to Anchor. Now, as far as YouTube is concerned, I'll still be on YouTube. This channel is not going anywhere. I will be on YouTube as long as YouTube exists. The podcast feature of my brand is what is moving to Anchor. Now, as far as the YouTube channel is concerned, it's going to be live streams, interviews, response videos, a number of things, but the podcast in particular is the only aspect of my media brand that will be moving to Anchor, and that will take effect on Sunday, January 10th, 2021. So please mark your calendar for that date. This week's topic: should melanated people celebrate Thanksgiving? But first, before I talk about that, I want to talk about Black Friday for a bit. Well, first of all, this year, 2020, with all that's going on with the pandemic, Black Friday may not look like this right here. I could imagine that Black Friday is going to be very chaotic because it's going to be a filtration of how many people could be in the store at once. They're going to filter it down to maybe 10 or 60, or, well, not 10. 10 is going to be a murder scene. I'm sorry, not 10. 60 or something. But it's not going to look like this. These days, I'm not going to say that they're over, but it's going to be a while before we see this again. So that's the first thing about Black Friday. But even so, even if things were normal, we should boycott Black Friday. You know, on July 7th, we had this day called Blackout Day, where we boycotted mainstream brands and mainstream retail outlets. And we didn't spend a single dollar in the Babylon system. It's either we spent with black-owned businesses or not at all. Black Friday is another good day to boycott the market. I am calling for a boycott of the market on Black Friday. Cancel culture will target Black Friday as its next target to demonstrate the spending power of the Black community. I see some Black people here in this picture, but even with the other people in the picture as well, all these people in this picture are dollars that could be going to the black community, but their dollars are going to Walmart instead. Imagine how much money the black community would have if every black person in this store and other stores throughout the nation would boycott the mainstream market and put their money in the black community. Imagine how much wealthier the black community would be and how much more resources we'd have if we start putting our money where it really belongs. Boycott Black Friday. I don't see the sense of it anyways. How is it that you're going to sit down around a table and eat with your family, and then you're going to go out in the cold a few hours later, drive through snow and sleet or even just wind, go stand up in a line, camp out in front of some Apple store waiting for the newest release of the iPhone, whatever series they have now, and camp out and then go inside the store and fight people over TVs and phones and laptops and all these things. Only a few hours after you were safely nestled away, all warm and toasty with your families, eating around the dining table, being thankful, and only a few hours later, you forget that you were being thankful only a few hours prior. All that stuff goes out the window. All you see is the cheap TV, the cheap phone. That is the hypocrisy of Thanksgiving and Black Friday, why I no longer celebrate those holidays, why I had to wake up. It doesn't make sense. It's sheer hypocrisy. What was the point of you sitting around your dining table being thankful in the first place? If all that stuff go out the window a few hours later when you're fighting your neighbors and people within the community over a television, a materialistic item that will go bad in a few years anyways, people have gotten stampeded and killed over cheap TVs on Black Friday. Fights have broken out. Like, none of that matter. None of that makes any sense to me. You're gonna fight and kill to get something for cheap that's only gonna be gone or go bad a few years later. It doesn't make any sense to me. Makes no sense. And by the way, anybody who has any good sense knows that the best time to get a discount is the first week of January when everybody's back to work and the holidays are over. Because that's when retailers see the sharpest decline in sales, and airline companies too, and hotels too. So it's the best time to travel, the best time to buy things. They see a sharp decline and they want to bring their profit back into the black. So they're going to give discounts that first week when things are really slow. You got to go when things are slow. You got to know when to go. And besides, they have new inventory coming in for the new year. So you're getting the best of things. You know what they sell to people on Black Friday? You know what they really sell to people? Second-rate, second-hand things that's not even good. You're going to have problems with it. Not too long after you buy it. It's going to have a shorter shelf life than if you were to actually spend your money and buy it during a regular time. Anyways, I never supported Black Friday. Even when I used to celebrate Thanksgiving, I would never go out on Black Friday. I would stay my ass in my house and keep warm and enjoy the turkey leftovers, the cranberry sauce leftovers, and all those things. But I would never go out to go fight over TV and risk getting stampeded by heartless people who forgot animals who literally forgot that a few hours ago they were all warm and toasty in their homes with their family, being thankful. And now look at how they're behaving. Give bread and circuses to the sheep, and they will never revolt. That's what keeps their minds off the reality of the misery of their lives. That's why they have to do what they do. If they don't, they'll be reminded as to how miserable they are, and they will. The government fears that they may revolt. Give bread and circuses to the sheep, and they will never revolt. Let them eat cake. Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake. Anyhow, my original point, boycott Black Friday. Just because the news media is no longer talking about George Floyd and Breonna Taylor doesn't mean that we have forgotten. They are still etched in our memories even though they're no longer hashtag trending. And we will still stay true to our goal to preserve their legacy in what best way we can, which is to hit them where it hurt the most. Hit the system that uphold that kind of abhorrent behavior where it hurts them the most, in their pockets. Boycott Black Friday. Boycott Christmas. Don't even buy so much as a turkey. Not even a turkey. Christmas is canceled this year. Not even a turkey. Don't buy nothing from them. Don't spend any money in their system buying the things that they know you buy at this time of year. Be unpredictable. Surprise them for a change. Don't even buy a turkey this year. You're just going to have to sit this one out, and you have to eat, so I would recommend buying maybe beef. You could have steak, yeah. As long as you're buying from a black-owned grocery store, which there's very few of those. We need more black-owned grocery stores. We do. There's too few of those of black-owned grocery stores. We need more of those. So whether it's steak or even chicken or even duck, whatever. And us from the islands, we have no problem making oxtails and curry goat for Christmas. We do that regardless anyways, so, you know. But think of something else to buy besides what they're expecting you to buy. They're expecting you to buy a turkey. Butterball is all sitting there gearing up to make big profits off of y'all. Switch up on them. Surprise them. Buy beef instead. Make a point. Breonna Taylor deserves justice. Stop paying into a system that upholds the kind of behavior that saw her getting killed and others like her. We have not forgotten. We will never forget. And for as long as we're in Babylon, we will starve them out until they know how to behave and treat us right. We will demand justice by means of starving them out and stop paying into their system. Majority of their profits come from us. If we want change, we have to be the change. Get out your comfort zone. I know it's not comfortable, but get out your comfort zone. Create new traditions, new kinds of norm. Many of those old traditions are paganistically rooted anyways. You shouldn't be doing them anyways. They're paganistically rooted. But I'll get back to that later. They're expecting you to buy turkey. They're gearing up for profits. Switch up on them. Have their turkeys go to waste and get rotten. And being feasted upon by vultures. Buy chicken or beef instead, or fish. Or, something. Which brings me to my main topic for the day. Should melanated people celebrate Thanksgiving? It seemed to me like I've already started. That was supposed to be a preamble, but I think I went too deep. Anyway, I'll continue where I left off. Now, historically, Thanksgiving, well, at the very least, the way that it was sold to us at first, before the truth came out, is that Thanksgiving was a celebration of the coming together and breaking bread and feasting of the Pilgrims and the Native Americans. But then the truth came out, and we have since learned what happened afterwards. The pagans, like the blasted bunch of ingrates that they are, slaughtered the Native Americans, thereby biting the hand that fed them. So it would seem, but that was only a half-truth. Apparently, what really happened is that the Native Americans were killed first and then they feasted to celebrate. They killed them because they were poor. The pilgrims, that is, the pilgrims were poor. And they did not have a green thumb. They couldn't plant to save their lives. But the Native Americans were harvesting the land for eons. They've been harvesting the lands over here since they first crossed the Bering Strait 12,000 years ago. The Pilgrims sought religious freedom in the Americas, and they also sought to bring an end to their famine. There was a potato upheaval in Europe, and they fled Europe to escape those harsh conditions. And they couldn't plant to save their lives. They saved a couple of seeds and brought them over here. A couple of roots and seeds, that's about it. Apart from that, they couldn't plant to save their lives. And then they came over here and they saw the Native Americans actually planting and prospering and thriving over here, agriculturally speaking and spiritually speaking, and them being poor and coming from famine and persecution in Europe, they grew very envious of the Native Americans. And because they were hungry and starving, they slaughtered them for their crops, stole their crops, and celebrated. The Thanksgiving feast was a feast of celebration. What you're looking at right here may have either happened much earlier than that, while they were still building the trust of the Native Americans, or was an outright lie altogether. But the first Thanksgiving, as it had come to be known, was a feast of celebration for the Pilgrims having slaughtered the Native Americans. Native Americans, when people think about that name, the first thing that comes to mind are some brown or red Indian people of the Americas wearing feathers in their hair and all that. That is a Hollywood stereotype. You had black indigenous tribes and brown indigenous tribes. And the Thanksgiving massacre, as it was told, didn't just happen in Jamestown or wherever. Plymouth Rock, or all those places on the East Coast. It happened all across the continent. It happened in North America, in Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. There were repeats of this all over the land. Wherever there were pilgrim settlements, there was a slaughtering of our people. But the one that became famous throughout history, the first Thanksgiving, that was the one for which Thanksgiving got its name. The one that became popularized in popular culture, the one for which the story, the narrative, has been spun and respun 1,000 other times before. The one for which Thanksgiving became famous. Every time we eat their turkey and celebrate their holidays, and we are dishonoring our ancestors, those of us who are indigenous to the Americas, whether black tribe or brown tribe, doesn't matter. Whether or not we were connected to the particular Indian tribe who were slaughtered during the event known as the first Thanksgiving. Whether or not we're connected, we can't turn a blind eye just because it's not our tribe, just because we're Arawak and they're Cherokee, and we don't business what happened to them. No. We can't be doing that, man. Listen, that's what allows evil to flourish. Division allows evil to flourish. We have to become involved when we see injustices taking place. We have to get involved and let them know if you fuck with one of us, you fuck with all of us. We gotta have that tribesman mentality, that clan mentality. We gotta move in clans, we gotta move in posses. That's why they fight so hard against our unity. Was it not J. Edgar Hoover, the former FBI director, who said, the single greatest threat to the American, to the interests of the United States is black unity? Really? So you're going to jump over all those Middle Eastern people who hate you far worse than we ever could, who are willing to blow themselves up to take some of you guys out. You're willing to jump over all of them to consider that our unity is the single greatest threat. Let that sink in. We are not willing to do what some of your worst enemies who despise you are willing to do. But our unity is the single greatest threat to the interests of the United States. Let that sink in. They don't want us being unified. That's why we got to be unified. There's strength in numbers. We got to have that posse mentality. We got to move in packs. We got to form a pack and move in packs. That's how you defeat that. We can't be over here by ourselves and see our fellow brethren, whether or not they're part of our tribe, being dealt with unjustly, and we just turn a blind eye and we have nothing to really say about that. And then something happens to us, and the Apache tribe is onlooking and they have nothing to say about it too, and the Olmecs are under attack, and the Incas have nothing to say about that until it happens to them too. It can happen to me too. And you're not going to realize until it arrives on your doorstep. It can happen to me too. That was the original me too. And the meaning of that hashtag should be changed to suggest that we should get involved and speak up and not turn a blind eye when our brothers are under attack. Because we know it could happen to me too. And we would want their help if it should happen to me too. we would most certainly want their help. So therefore, because we know it could happen to me too, we should become involved when we see it happening to them. It's time we stop turning a blind eye. Get involved when we see our brethren under attack. That's why I am not going to allow these end of year holiday festivities to make me forget about the events of the past year and the slaughter of our fellow black brothers and sisters, the slaughter, and brown brothers and sisters too. Yeah, we are not going to forget the slaughter of George Floyd, the most sensational of all the slaughters or deaths that took place this year. Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Andres Guardado. We will not forget. We need to become involved because we know it could happen to me too. Do not let them befriend you when they want you to partake in their celebrations, but neglect you when they no longer need you and they're tired of looking at you. Maintain some pride. Tell them no thanks and keep your distance. Maintain your pride and your ego. Tell them no thank you. And proudly maintain your distance and your dignity. The dignity that comes from walking away. Whenever you don't walk away, your dignity is betrayed, and that's what hurt the most. That's what hurt the most. Your dignity is betrayed. He's like, dude, what are you doing? Walk away. Don't let them befriend you when they want you spending money in their store. Remember the offenses. That is when you should remember the offenses to keep you angry enough to walk away and maintain your dignity. That is when you should remember the offenses more than ever. When they're trying to friend you up to come back in their store because they want to make a profit off of you. No. Maintain your distance and walk away. Don't let this holiday festivity, even though we could use a well-deserved break from the year's events, and many people are looking forward to Christmas because of that. They're looking forward to the holiday season because of that. Because they want a well-deserved break from everything that's been going on since March. Or even January, if you want to count the celebrity death psyops, Rest in peace, Kobe. So I understand the need for a break from the year's events, all that we've been through this year, the mundaneness of this year. We want this year to be over with already, and for that reason, yes, I agree. I can't look forward to the end of year festivities either, but we have to do so with sense, we have to do so wisely, and we have to not forget what we've been through and why we should stay gone. And the only reason why they want to include us in their festivity is to celebrate and worship their paganistic gods while putting money in their pocket at the same time. We should remember that. Stay true to our dignity and stay gone. And stop acting like a group of people who got Stockholm Syndrome. Their approval and validation does not define who we are. Stop seeking their approval. Stop behaving like as if we have Stockholm Syndrome. And many of us do, and many of us need therapy. Try and do the healing on your own, get your mind right, and then in the future, when you have become familiar with not celebrating their paganistic holidays, you could start traditions of your own, whatever comes to mind. Whatever you decide on doing, start traditions of your own. It doesn't have to coincide with the exact dates, but it could happen at any time of the year you choose. But start traditions. Or you know something, even if it is within the season, within the month of December, it doesn't have to be on the 25th. It could be on the 20th or the 18th or whenever it is, or the 15th. Start something, new traditions on your own that is independent of their paganistic festivities. But we get to that later, whatever it is you decide to do. You need to remember the bad times when they want you to come and join them and to serve their agenda, to spend in their store and so they can make a profit off of you. Or when times are good for them. The best way to fight Stockholm Syndrome is to remember the bad times and remember why you were boycotting in the first place. It has to be a permanent change. It can't just be a one-day thing. A one-day thing, like what happened on July 7th, Blackout Day, is for the sake of demonstration. Now that we have demonstrated the power of our spending dollar, or I should say the spending power of our dollar, now that we have demonstrated that, going forward, it needs to become a more permanent thing. Where not only do we check out, but we stay checked out. We stay gone. We already left. Now we gotta stay gone. The next leg of the journey is to stay gone. Are you listening to me? The next leg of the journey is to stay gone. We have to do Blackout Day more often. And for this year, Blackout Day should coincide with Black Friday. It should coincide with Christmas. We should sit the whole season out. The next 6 weeks should be sat the fuck out. Don't even buy a turkey. Don't even buy a ham. Buy fish instead. It's healthier. The ham is full of all the preservatives, all the sodium. You're pre-embalming yourself. They want killing ourselves off prematurely. When you could choose something healthier. And it's too expensive. You can't even afford this stuff anyways. It is too expensive. And you're buying this expensive meat that's full of preservatives and sodium, and you don't know how it was prepared or how it was packaged. Just to celebrate a paganistic ritual that doesn't serve you, that actually celebrates the slaughter of your ancestors, how they slaughter them like they were animals with no regard to their lives, no regard to their lives, their contributions, their will, nothing. All that was not considered. They only wanted to steal their crops. So this is why you shouldn't celebrate any paganistic holiday. And Blackout Day should coincide with the paganistic holidays where they are looking forward to a profit. They are looking forward to a profit. They are looking forward to going from out of the red and into the black of their profitability. And that is when you attack them, when it hurts the most, when they're looking out for you spending with them, looking out to make a profit off of you, that is when you just switch up on them and surprise them and starve them out. When they're expecting it, catch them off guard. We have to continue to boycott their system and stop celebrating their paganistic ritual that feeds and pays homage to their paganistic deity and our celebrates the slaughtering of our ancestors and mocks us as a people, and all they're doing is laughing at us. Learn your history. Stop doing that. I'm not saying you can't celebrate. I'm not boring. I hope not. I'm not against people celebrating and having a good time. But you can start your own traditions that is independent of what they got going on. You could choose to have Family Day that could maybe take place on December 23rd or December 18th, or it doesn't even have to be in December. It could be in September. Family Day, gift giving day, whatever you want to call it. Costume party day, dress up day, yeah. Whatever you want to call it. Start your own new traditions and be done away with their paganistic traditions. And understand the roots of these holidays, why they're so big, and why melanated people, both black and brown alike, ought not celebrate their paganistic holidays. Every time we celebrate Thanksgiving, we're celebrating the bloodletting of our ancestors, our combined ancestors, not just that one tribe in Plymouth, in Jamestown or Plymouth Rock or wherever it is. Not just that one tribe, but all of our combined ancestors. We are celebrating the death of our ancestors, therefore the death of ourselves. We're celebrating the bloodletting of innocent tribes who didn't deserve to be murdered, didn't deserve to have their crops stolen. Hmm? And at the end of the day, all of that hatred they had for us, it's all rooted in bad mind and envy because they saw them being very successful, thriving in their agricultural little community, having a green thumb springing potatoes and onions and everything. And they were jealous and they were hungry and going through famine and they had diseases and smallpox and sores and syphilis and all those things that they brought to the New World to infect our ancestors. Coming off the ship with all these sores and everything and smallpox and measles. And they had like teeth missing or whatever it is. And they saw that the quality of life over here was good. And they instantly envied these people. They look at them like they're less than. Like as if they don't deserve to live as good as they're living. And why would the Most High bless them with these bountiful crops? Why would He bless them? Why does He favor you? We could never understand. We're the superior race. Isn't that what Darwin said? We're the superior race. Why are you so blessed? How do you come to have all this meal and all these produce and all that? How? They could never understand it. But that is their train of thought. And they see them setting the table with all the plates and everything and bring the turkey out and oh man, that was the end of it. The moment they saw that, oh, so now you're teasing me? You mocking me? You brown bastards? Boom, 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 boom. That is the train of thought leading up to the slaughter of our ancestors. That is the train of thought leading up to the slaughter of our ancestors, of our combined ancestors. It is rooted in bad mind. They were bad-minded, they felt ridiculed and teased and mocked, and they thought they would teach us a lesson. Thanksgiving is a celebration of indigenous genocide. And when we sit around the dining table and we eat and we give thanks, we are celebrating the slaughter and the disrespect of our ancestors, and they're mocking us because they know what it really means. We probably don't really know unless you read the history or someone tells you, but we don't really. Many of our people don't really know like that. Not really. And in the words of Frederick Douglass, American celebrations and parades help to cover up the shame, if I'm quoting him right, or maybe I'm paraphrasing. They help to cover up the shame of a nation of savages. That's why they celebrate. The same thing with the 4th of July. The same thing with Memorial Day. The same thing with Thanksgiving. These parades and these floats cover up the shame of a nation of savages. But what are you celebrating, though? Murder? Death? Conquest? That's why we shouldn't celebrate. They can celebrate all they want. I could give a shit. We shouldn't celebrate. And if you call yourself a non-black ally of black people, you shouldn't celebrate either. If you call yourself that. Why do you need a designated day that's set aside to give thanks? And why do you need to give thanks over a turkey and some mashed potatoes and gravy and cranberry sauce and stuffing when you could give thanks every day? You could give thanks in the privacy of your closet. Give thanks for life. Give thanks for you having a job. Give thanks for you being able to pay off all your bills on time. Give thanks for family and friends and people who love you. You could do that in the privacy of your closet or in the shower or in the car or wherever you have a minute. You can give thanks to the Most High for blessing you in that moment. You could give thanks kneeling down at your bedside on your knees. It only takes a minute. You don't need no elaborate parade or festivity or feast to give thanks. You can give thanks every day, every single day. And when it's time for you to actually feast and celebrate, your feast and celebrations does not have to coincide or be tied to a paganistic celebration of bloodshed. Or perhaps I should say a paganistic celebration of the bloodshed of your ancestors in particular. It could be about things that are just and righteous and truthful and honorable and things that are of a benevolent nature. Your celebration should never be tied to a paganistic celebration of the bloodshed of our combined ancestors. And on that note, next week's topic, second wave and the mark of the beast revisited. I hope you'll join me then. I am Mr. Franklin. This has been Frank and Upfront.